Hey, what's up, guys? It's Nate. So today I want to talk about an idea that I've had for a while now, but I've never really put it out there. I didn't really want to put it out there because it wasn't a fully fleshed out idea. However, I recently ran into someone who had a similar idea and talked to them a little bit about it. So I just wanted to go ahead and get this out there, see if there's anybody else who's thinking similar things and maybe get some feedback on it. So the idea is a global community, and the title will go something like Global Community, No One Stays, Everyone Maintains. So before I get into the meat of the main idea, I just kind of want to set up some background for what led me to thinking about this kind of thing. So right now, the world is very set up to benefit a householder's life. So somebody who works a 40-hour-a-week job, has a mortgage on a house, and only stays at that house in between the times that they're out working and running errands and stuff like that. People who have a family, want to live in the suburbs, have young kids. So the world is very set up like that. Stores are set up to be in between your workplace and your home. Malls are local, movie theaters, neighborhoods are set up to house thousands of people who do this. And these people may never even interact with each other, even though they live right next to each other. So that's the way the world is set up right now. I think this is not ideal for everybody, and just a lot of people it isn't ideal for. And it also perpetuates the reliance on corporation, banks, and the disconnected social atmosphere, which the recent advancements in technology have helped create. So everyone's on their phone all the time and not even looking up. So that's kind of why I think that this needs to change a little bit. So there are people who live different types of lives right now. So part of this idea that I'm going to get to relies heavily on the idea of humans being nomadic creatures. So and right now, people do live nomadic and travelers' lives, but there are limitations to that. So if you can't find work, then you're going to have to come back to some kind of home base and save up again, get reestablished if you want to go back out. If it reaches winter and you don't have the funds or the time to get to the other side of the hemisphere where the season's opposite, then again, you need to come back somewhere or home base because it's harder to survive. Out in the traveling life during the cold season because it's harder to find work. It's also just really cold to try to live in a van if that's what you're doing. So there's a lot of limitations currently to living that kind of life. Some people may say that living like this is a lazy way to live. However, I think that there's actually a lot of reasons to think that this is actually a more natural way to live and even better for us, arguably. So if you look at the evolutionary history of humans, we've been nomadic creatures. We were nomadic creatures for thousands and thousands of years before agriculture was invented. So the daily life of the human was going out and gathering whatever food you can find, maybe hunting a little bit if need be, and then you pretty much have the rest of your time to do as you please, whatever that may be. But we started to move towards a different way of living once we discovered agriculture. Now, it could be argued that agriculture was the best discovery that we've ever had. It made life way easier. We don't have to move around and exert as much effort as maybe we had to in the past. However, there's also been arguments that agriculture may have been the worst discovery that we ever made. And there's a lot of good reasons to think this. And one of the regions that really points to why this may have been a bad idea is the social area of societies. So agriculture is thought to have given way to the ideas of classism, possibly even sexism, wealth inequality. So there's a lot of issues that agriculture brought about. So it was kind of just a bad idea because it ruined the way that we naturally lived our lives and created a lot of these social problems. So this brings me to the main idea. So my main idea is that we need to have this global community. So this global community, the idea is that everyone will be constantly traveling around wherever they want to go, being nomadic just as kind of is natural for us. But wherever we go, we also make sure to maintain what is there. So the biggest example of this would be community gardens or farming. So wherever we go, there would be community gardens and farms where we would go and volunteer our time every day, no matter where we went, and take care of it a little bit. It could be an hour, 2 hours, whatever, but just trying to maintain it for the next people that will come there. And so the idea is that nobody is staying in one place maintaining these kind of things, but everyone is doing the work while they move around. Now, this idea sounds like really great to idealists and everything, especially when I just thought of this idea, it was wonderful. But shortly after, you realize that there are a lot of limitations that would come with trying to set up this kind of world. And just like the way the world is set up now, that also wouldn't work for everybody. So some of the limitations is some people just frankly wouldn't want to do this. Some people like the life they live. Some people, even if born into a world where this was a possibility, may still want to stay in one place. The other is there's plenty of people who couldn't even do this, whether it be some kind of like medical issue that they have where they need to stay close to a hospital or something, or they need to even like be taking care of somebody else. But there's plenty of reasons that maybe some people couldn't or wouldn't want to do this. And then additionally, another thing, just thinking in terms of the way a society needs to be set up, is there are jobs that probably would need to be location dependent. So we mentioned like if there were medical problems, so people, we would need to have medical workers who would probably be staying in one place so that there were a hospital, and we would know that there are qualified people everywhere we went to take care of anything that may arise, or any reoccurring health issues that we may have if we choose to travel. Another thing is like police work, firefighting, a lot of those kind of things also probably need to stay in one place and have things set up around there. And a lot of these kind of jobs may be at risk of automation actually taking over, and so that would alleviate some of these concerns. But especially things like police work, where that's a very human job that you need to be able to understand human situations and respond in a human way to. So automation is probably not going to take over jobs like that. So regardless of automation and the advancements that we're making, there are still going to be limitations to this. However, the alternate option, if we weren't to create this world even with these limitations, are people deciding to instead escape to a virtual reality world or something, and everyone weighs 1,000 pounds and we're all stuck in this VR world, and that's how we live, kind of like the book Ready Player One. So there are those are kind of our couple options as we move forward into a society where automation is taking over a lot of basic labor jobs, and also where we're starting to move towards a society where we might be looking to help people get their necessities at all times, rather than being based off of meritocracy for necessities, and instead just a meritocracy for wants instead of needs. So those are kind of our two options, and I think this one is definitely more preferable. And a beautiful thing about this is, even though some people may not choose to live this, it's beautiful to be able to give people the option, so that people who do want to and would more naturally be drawn to this way of life have the option to do that, and people who don't wouldn't do that and still have the option to live in the kind of life that we have set up now. But it just gives people that freedom, also freedom from corporations and banks. So really it's just in the name of freedom and giving people the option to live a type of life that they want to, and giving us just one more option of what our society could look like and how it could be set up. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. Thank you guys for watching. As always, hit the subscribe button and like button. I will put a link to my blog down below. Please check that out. I recently wrote a piece on this, and I write about my ideas frequently. And catch you guys in the next one. See ya.